The halls of the Varelian royal palace gleamed with crystal arches and bioluminescent ivy that pulsed gently with each footstep. Princess Leora Virilsai, heir to the throne of the Varelian Empire, stood before the Grand Council with her golden eyes narrowed and her arms crossed over her ceremonial robes. "Enough," she said, voice cool as a Varelian ice storm. "I will not marry the Sukel prince. It is a political farce, and you know it." Emperor Sai, her father, stared down from his obsidian throne. His jaw clenched. "Leora, we are at the brink of war. An alliance through marriage may prevent bloodshed. What would you have us do, fight?" Leora's heart thundered in her chest, but she kept her tone composed. "Then fight we must. But I will not be bartered like livestock." The court fell silent. That night, in her private chamber surrounded by holographic maps and diplomatic correspondences, Leora made her decision. If the council demanded a union, she would give them one, on her terms. She activated a secure channel to a mercenary database frequented by off-world soldiers. She needed someone capable, discreet, and utterly expendable. She found him under the codename Wraith. Human. Soldier. Reputation lethal, loyal, for a price. She clicked the holocall button. The screen flickered to reveal a man in his 30s, scar across one brow, eyes cool and calculating. "I'm told you take unusual contracts," she began. "I've fought on dying moons and guarded diplomats with a death wish. Nothing surprises me anymore," he replied. "I need a husband," she said bluntly. That made him blink. "Come again." "A fake husband," she clarified. "Public appearances only. We pretend to be bonded, enough to satisfy the royal court. Once the Sukel alliance is off the table, I'll release you with double your pay." Wraith leaned back in his chair. "Sounds like politics." "I don't like politics. I pay triple for inconvenience," she said. He grinned. "Where do I sign?" The first meeting. 2 days later, under the alias Captain Dax Rayner, the human soldier arrived on Varelia Prime. The contrast was jarring. His black battle armor beside her iridescent royal attire. His rough hands next to her elegant fingers. "You don't bow?" she asked. "I wasn't hired to bow," he replied dryly. The charade began immediately. Public dinners. Media appearances. A staged bonding ceremony with holographic fireworks. And to everyone's shock, especially her father's, Leora seemed happy. To outsiders, Dax was a decorated human hero who'd saved her during an off-world skirmish. The truth was far more mundane. In private, they barely spoke unless necessary. Dax slept in a guest chamber down the hall, and Leora went about her duties with cold precision. But something unexpected began to happen. During one formal event, a Varelian noble insulted Dax, calling him a barely evolved ape. Before Dax could respond, Leora snapped back. "Then it's a shame your daughter tried to flirt with him." "Twice." Dax blinked. Later that night he said, "Thanks for that." A shrug. "Can't have my husband looking weak, can I?" Low shifts. Their fake marriage evolved slowly. Dax began accompanying her on diplomatic missions, not just for show, but as her tactical advisor. He had a soldier's mind, sharp and strategic. Leora, for all her elegance, appreciated logic. "You're not what I expected from a human," she told him one night aboard the royal cruiser. He looked up from a holomap. "And you're not what I expected from royalty." "No offense." "None taken," she smiled. "Though you are surprisingly decent for someone who kills people for a living. And you're surprisingly kind for someone raised to rule." They stared at each other, and for a moment, the distance between soldier and sovereign seemed to vanish. The threat. The Sukail Empire wasn't pleased with the sudden bonding of the Varelian princess to an off-world human. They accused Leora of deceit, sent emissaries with veiled threats, and finally, launched a covert strike on Varelia's outer colonies. Or loomed. The Grand Council, still wary of Dax, insisted he be removed from military briefings. Leora refused. "He's not just my husband," she declared. "He's saved my life more times than I can count. He stays." In private, Dax confronted her. "You didn't have to do that. You saved my life on Castra 9 last week. I remember. I'm being paid to protect you. No one's paid you to stay up all night analyzing battle routes." He didn't answer. That night, they shared their first quiet dinner alone. No servants, no pretense, just two people weary of pretending. "You never talk about your past," she said. He stared into his glass. "Lost too many friends. War changes you." She reached across the table, fingers brushing his. "You're not as broken as you think." A line crossed. It happened after a battle on the mining moon Zethra. Leora had insisted on being present to coordinate relief efforts. An ambush nearly cost her life. Dax threw himself between her and a plasma blast, taking the brunt of the hit. In the medical bay, bruised but breathing, he muttered, "You owe me a drink." She smiled tearfully. "I owe you much more." Later she kissed him. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't for cameras. It was real. And it changed everything. Truths revealed. Weeks passed. Their bond, once a performance, had deepened. But secrets still lingered. One evening, Leora confronted him. "Why did you take this job?" "Really?" Dax looked at her. "I was tired of war. Thought I could hide behind palace walls. But then I met you." He softened. "And now?" He stepped closer. "Now I'd go to war for you." But fate wasn't done with them. A Sukail assassin infiltrated the palace. During a midnight raid, Dax and Leora fought side by side. She wielded her staff with royal precision, while Dax moved like a shadow. They saved each other more than once. When it was over, the assassin dead, Leora collapsed into his arms. "I don't want to pretend anymore," she whispered. "Neither do I." The council's wrath. Word spread fast. The council demanded answers. "You compromised Varelian dignity," barked Minister Kale. "You're in love with a mercenary." Leora stood tall. "I'm in love with a man who's bled for this empire, who stood by me when none of you did." The emperor watched silently. At last he said, "Then let us see if your love withstands fire." Trial was set. Dax was to be tested by ancient rite, the flames of truth, a brutal gauntlet designed for warriors who sought to earn royal trust. Dax didn't hesitate. Let them come. The final trial. In the arena beneath the palace, Dax faced 3 challenges. A mental puzzle, a duel with a royal guard, and a final ordeal through fire and ice. He passed the first with calm logic. The second he won with bruises and blood. The third nearly killed him. As he stumbled from the final gate, armor scorched, body smoking, he collapsed before the emperor. Leora rushed to him, cradling his head. "You didn't have to do this." He smiled weakly. "Wanted to earn it." The emperor stood. "Then earn it you have." He turned to the court. "Let it be known. Captain Dax Rayner is no longer a mercenary. He is a son of Varelia, and my daughter's true husband." Epilogue. Months passed. The Sukail backed down, seeing the Varelian resolve. Peace returned to the stars. In the garden balcony overlooking the twin moons, Leora stood beside Dax, Now clad in Varelian royal armor trimmed with his home world's blue,